My daughter's gymnastics coach walked across the observation area of the Excel Elite Gymnastics Academy in Frisco, Texas, on the evening of Tuesday, October 21st, at 6:47 in the evening, and she said the sentence that ended her career in front of 32 other parents. She said, "Miss Patterson, could I speak with you for a moment? Outside, if you don't mind." I was sitting on the third bleacher from the bottom, in a pair of jeans I had owned for 4 years and a plain gray sweatshirt from the hospital where I worked as a night shift nurse. I was holding a bottle of water and watching my 9-year-old daughter Emma execute a back handspring across the floor mat, 40 feet away. I looked up. I said, "Coach Vanessa, is Emma okay?" She said, "Emma's fine. This isn't about Emma. It's about the fit here. For your family. Please, just outside for a moment." The other parents on the bleachers went very quiet. I stood up. I followed Coach Vanessa Whitmore across the observation area and out through the front doors of the gym, into the parking lot. I did not know, at that moment, that a man in a navy blue polo shirt was standing at the far end of the observation area, holding a small leather notebook. He had been watching my daughter for 11 minutes. He was about to change everything. The gym. My name is Sarah Patterson. I am 38 years old. I live in a small 2-bedroom apartment in Plano, Texas, about 12 miles from the gym. I work as a registered nurse in the emergency department at Baylor Scott & White Medical Center. I work the night shift, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., 4 nights a week. I sleep during the day. I raise my daughter Emma alone. Emma is 9 years old. She has been doing gymnastics for 6 years. She started at the age of 3 at a small community gymnastics program at the IMCA in East Plano. She moved up to a competitive team gym at the age of 6, and 2 years ago, when she was 7, she was recruited, that is the word the head coach used at the time, to Excel Elite Gymnastics Academy, one of the top 10 gymnastics training facilities in the entire state of Texas. Excel Elite is in Frisco. It is a 50,000 square foot facility with 3 competition floors, 4 uneven bar stations, a full training pit, and, I want you to remember this detail, a wall of champions in the main lobby, featuring photographs of former athletes who have gone on to compete at the collegiate, national, and Olympic levels. There are 17 photographs on that wall. 3 of them have gold Olympic medals hanging next to them. Excel Elite costs $3,400 per month for the pre-elite training track. I need to explain how I could afford it, because it matters. I could not afford it. Not really. I make $73,000 a year as a registered nurse. I have a mortgage on a 2-bedroom apartment that consumes $1,850 of my monthly take-home pay. I have a used 2016 Honda Civic with 118,000 miles on it that I paid off last year. I have Emma's health insurance, and Emma's food, and Emma's school supplies, and Emma's shoes that she outgrows every 4 months. And I need to be honest about this, approximately $6,200 in credit card debt, most of which is from gymnastics-related expenses. I paid Excel Elite's monthly tuition by working a 5th night shift every 3 weeks, and by taking every possible weekend overtime opportunity my hospital offered. I did this because Emma is, and I say this not as a proud mother, but as a person who has watched thousands of children in emergency rooms and has learned to distinguish special from ordinary. Emma is genuinely, unusually, extraordinarily talented at gymnastics. I did not want her to be. I want to be honest about that too. When Emma was 3 years old and started doing cartwheels across our small apartment living room, I did not think, my daughter is a future athlete. I thought, please stop doing cartwheels near the coffee table. When she was 5 and had her first competition ribbon, I framed it and hung it on the refrigerator, because that is what mothers do. When she was 7 and got scouted by Excel Elite, I cried in the parking lot after the tryout, for reasons I still do not entirely understand. I did not want to be a gym mom. I especially did not want to be an Excel Elite gym mom. I need to describe the other mothers at Excel Elite, because they are the entire second half of this story. The Excel Elite mothers are, without exception, wealthy. Most of them are married to executives, doctors, tech founders, or professional services partners. Most of them live in Frisco proper or in the wealthy suburbs of Frisco, Prosper, McKinney, Highland Park. Most of them do not work. They drive SUVs, Range Rovers, Escalades, Teslas. They wear Lululemon athletic wear to practice, even when they are just watching. They carry Louis Vuitton bags. They get their nails done at a specific salon in Frisco, that they all mention by name. The unofficial queen of the Excel Elite Mothers is a woman named Whitney Ashford. She is 43. Her husband is a partner at a private equity firm in Dallas. Her daughter Chloe is Emma's age, and Emma's competitor for the same competition slots. Whitney has been at Excel Elite for 6 years. Whitney and coach Vanessa Whitmore, the head coach, are friends outside the gym. Whitney has, for approximately 18 months, made it her quiet mission to establish that I do not belong at Excel Elite. She has done this in the specific way wealthy women in the American South do these things, with sweetness. She has said in front of me, "Sarah, honey, don't worry about the team parent brunch. We know you're always so busy with work." She has said in front of the other mothers, "Emma's routine was so cute, she's really coming along, even without the private coaching the other girls have." She has said, in the observation area during a Saturday practice in July, "It's so nice you can still make it to practice even with your night shifts. Some of us really don't know how you do it." I did not respond to any of it. I did not respond because I did not have the energy to fight Whitney Ashford. I was sleeping 4 hours a night. I was paying Excel Elite tuition with credit cards. I was watching my daughter get up at 5:15 a.m. before school for conditioning, and then get to bed at 9:30 p.m. after practice. And I was trying to be the mother who packed her lunches and did her laundry, and drove her 12 miles each way to the gym without being visibly exhausted. I was, at every level of my life, at the edge of what a single mother can do. And on the evening of Tuesday, October 21st, at 6:47 p.m., the head coach of Excel Elite Gymnastics Academy asked me to step outside into the parking lot. That is where our story begins. The parking lot. I want to describe what happened in that parking lot, because it will help you understand what happened afterward. Coach Vanessa Whitmore is 52 years old. She was a Division I gymnast at LSU in the early 1990s. She has run Excel Elite for 11 years. She is, on paper, a respected figure in Texas competitive gymnastics. She wears her hair in a tight, precise ponytail. She wears matching workout sets that cost more than my grocery budget for a month. She led me out of the front doors of the gym and stopped in the parking lot next to a black Range Rover that I later learned was hers. She turned to face me. She said, "Sarah, thank you for stepping out. I want to have a conversation with you, and I want to have it privately, because I have a lot of respect for you, and I don't want this to be awkward inside the gym." I said, "Coach, what is it?" She said, "Sarah, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I've been talking with some of the other parents, and I think we need to have an honest conversation about whether Excel Elite is the right fit for Emma going forward." I did not, at first, know what she was saying. I said, "Coach, I don't understand. Emma just won her age division at the Invitational 2 weeks ago. She's one of the strongest gymnasts in her group." Coach Vanessa said, "Sarah, Emma is a lovely gymnast. Truly, she is talented. I want to be clear about that. This is not about Emma's ability. This is about I'm going to be honest because I think you deserve honesty. This is about the culture fit. For your family. At this level." I said, "Coach, what are you telling me?" She said, "Sarah, Excel Elite is a specific kind of program. Our families are, how do I say this? They're in a specific social and financial position, and that position matters at this level of competition. It matters for the private lessons, the summer intensives at national training centers, the travel to national meets, the equipment, the choreographers, the leotards for the season. I could go on. Emma is coming up on the age where the financial commitment goes from significant to, frankly, substantial. And I have been watching, Sarah. I see you at Saturday practices in the same sweatshirt. I see the car you drive. I see Emma wearing last season's warm-up jacket because you haven't ordered the new one. And I want you to know, this is not judgment. This is care. I am telling you this because I do not think it is fair to Emma to continue in a program where her family cannot, realistically, keep up." I did not speak for approximately 4 seconds. Then I said, "Coach Vanessa, are you telling me my daughter is being asked to leave Excel Elite because I don't buy Louis Vuitton bags?" Coach Vanessa said, "Sarah, please, don't be like that. I am telling you that Emma might be happier at a program that is more within your family's means. A place where Emma could still enjoy the sport without the pressure. Somewhere like, Metroplex Gymnastics has a very nice program. Or Plano Gymnastic Academy. Emma could shine there. She could still compete. She would just be more comfortable." I said, "Coach, Emma is at Excel Elite because she was recruited by you 2 years ago. You told me at the recruitment tryout that Emma had, and I am quoting you, the kind of raw talent that comes along once every 10 years. Coach Vanessa said, Sarah. I said, Coach, has Emma's performance dropped? Coach Vanessa said, no, Emma is performing beautifully. I said, has Emma's behavior changed? Coach Vanessa said, no, Emma is a lovely child. I said, so this is about me, about my sweatshirt, about my car, about the fact that I did not order Emma's new warm-up jacket in time. Coach Vanessa said, Sarah, this is about the whole picture. Please, I am trying to be kind. I want to explain what I felt in that moment, because it matters for what I did next. I did not feel angry. I felt, more than anything, tired. I felt the exhaustion of 18 months of Whitney Ashford's sweetness. I felt the exhaustion of the 5th night shifts I had been working to keep up with tuition. I felt the exhaustion of watching my 9-year-old daughter, my brilliant, joyful, talented daughter, walk into that gym every day and love a sport in a building where her mother did not belong. I felt tired, but underneath the tiredness, I felt something else. And I want to be honest about what it was. I felt clarity, because for 18 months, I had been letting Whitney Ashford and the Excel Elite mothers say small things about me, and I had been telling myself that I did not have the energy to respond. But there is a specific kind of quiet that a mother of a talented daughter learns to protect. And that quiet had, at that exact moment in that parking lot, run out. I looked at Coach Vanessa Whitmore. I said, Coach, I need to go back inside. Emma is finishing her floor routine, and I want to see her land it. After practice, I would like to talk to you again. With Emma present. Would that be all right? Coach Vanessa said, Sarah, of course, but I want to be clear that... I said, Coach, after practice, Emma present. Thank you. I walked back into the gym. The observation area went silent when I walked in. Whitney Ashford had, apparently, been narrating the parking lot conversation to the other mothers through the window. She stopped speaking when I sat down on the 3rd bleacher from the bottom, next to a mother named Diane, whom I liked, and who was, quietly, one of the few Excel Elite mothers who had ever been kind to me. Diane said, very quietly, Sarah, are you okay? I said, Diane, I'm going to be okay. Emma was on the balance beam. She was doing a series of back walkovers. She was, at 9 years old, on a 4-inch wide beam, executing skills that most adult women cannot do at all. She landed her dismount, a full twist off the end of the beam. She saluted the imaginary judge. She looked up at me in the observation area and smiled. I gave her a thumbs up. I did not know, at that moment, that at the far end of the observation area, behind a small partition where he had been standing since approximately 6:20 p.m., a man in a navy blue polo shirt was writing something in a small leather notebook. He had been watching Emma for 11 minutes. He had also been watching Coach Vanessa Whitmore lead me out to the parking lot at 6:47. He was, at 7:02 p.m., about to walk over to me. The man with the notebook. His name was David Chen. He was 56 years old. He was wearing a navy blue polo shirt with a small embroidered logo on the left chest, a stylized eagle inside a circle, in gold and blue, with the initials USPC underneath. United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee. He walked across the observation area at 7:02 p.m., about 15 minutes after Coach Vanessa Whitmore had led me back into the gym. He stopped in front of the 3rd bleacher from the bottom. He looked at me. He said, "Excuse me, ma'am. Are you Sarah Patterson, Emma's mother?" I said, "Yes." He said, "My name is David Chen. I am a National Talent Development Scout with the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee, Artistic Gymnastics Division. I have been in your gym for the last 47 minutes. I have been watching your daughter. I would very much like to speak with you for a few minutes, if you have time." The bleacher next to me, where Diane was sitting, made a small sound. Diane had inhaled sharply and had covered her mouth with one hand. 3 rows up, Whitney Ashford had also stopped talking. She was staring at David Chen with the specific expression of a woman who was, in real time, trying to reassess the last hour of her life. I said, "Mr. Chen, yes, please, sit down." David Chen sat down on the 2nd bleacher, 1 step below me, so that we were roughly at eye level. He held his small leather notebook in his lap. He did not open it. He said, "Ms. Patterson, first, I want to explain how I ended up here today, because I do not want you to think this is unusual. My office receives approximately 140 video submissions per year from gyms across the United States. Coaches and parents submit video of promising athletes, and we review them, and if something catches our attention, we schedule an unannounced observation visit. This is standard practice. He said, 6 weeks ago, a video was submitted from the July Invitational in Fort Worth. Your daughter was in the video. The video was submitted by another gym's coach, who watched Emma compete and thought she was worth flagging for us. Do you know what gym I mean? I said, Metroplex. He said, Metroplex. Correct. Coach Amanda Ruiz. I have been in this business for 28 years, Ms. Patterson, and one of the honorable practices in our sport is that some coaches, when they see a truly exceptional child at another gym, will alert us, even at the risk of that child eventually being recruited away from their own program. Coach Ruiz submitted Emma's video. I reviewed it in early August. I flagged Emma as one of a small group of athletes we are quietly tracking in the 8 to 10 age category nationally. I came to Excel Elite today unannounced because I wanted to observe Emma in her normal training environment. I said, Mr. Chen, are you telling me? He said, Miss Patterson, I am telling you that your daughter has, in my professional assessment as a talent scout who has evaluated approximately 11,000 young gymnasts in 28 years, a specific combination of physical proportions, natural power, kinesthetic awareness, and, this is the rarer quality, competitive temperament, that we see in perhaps one child every 3 to 4 years in the entire United States. I am not going to promise you anything. Predictions in this sport are impossible. But I am here today to tell you that Emma is on our national radar, and I would like to have a conversation with you about what that means, and what your family's options might be, going forward. I could not for a moment speak. David Chen reached into his shirt pocket. He removed a small business card. He held it out to me. He said, Ms. Patterson, this is my card. Please take it. My cell phone is on the back. I would like to have a longer conversation with you tomorrow, or Thursday, at whatever time works with your schedule. But before we have that conversation, because I am aware that you have some things to work through here at this gym tonight, I would like to say one thing to you if I may. I said, please, Mr. Chen. He said, Ms. Patterson, before I approached you tonight, I spent about 11 minutes watching your daughter train, and I spent about 6 minutes watching your daughter's head coach lead you out to the parking lot and then bring you back inside. I am not going to insert myself into whatever conversation you and Coach Whitmore need to have. But I am going to tell you, as a scout, as a father of 2 daughters, and as a man who has seen approximately 700 parent-coach dynamics play out in gyms across this country, that the quality of the coach at a gym matters far less than the quality of the mother in the observation area. And the quality of your daughter's routine tonight, on that balance beam, told me everything I needed to know about the quality of the mother who has been sitting on that third bleacher for the last 2 years. Am I making sense to you, Ms. Patterson? I said. Mr. Chen, yes you are. He said, Ma'am, I'll call you tomorrow. Please have a good rest of your evening. He stood up. He walked past Whitney Ashford, who was, at that moment, standing very still, and he stopped at the edge of the observation area. He turned around. He looked at Coach Vanessa Whitmore, who had come out of her office and was standing near the training floor. He said, Coach Whitmore, my name is David Chen. Usopp, I do not think we have met. Coach Vanessa said, Mr. Chen, I have heard of you. It's an honor. May I ask? David Chen said, Coach, I would like a brief word with you, and your ownership on Thursday morning. I will call your front desk tomorrow to schedule. I want to discuss Emma Patterson's training environment going forward. I have some concerns. Please make sure both you and the gym's owner are available. Coach Vanessa Whitmore did not respond for approximately 3 seconds. Then she said, Mr. Chen, of course. Thursday morning, whatever time works for you. David Chen said, Thank you, Coach. He walked out of the observation area. The front doors of Excel Elite closed behind him with a soft, expensive hydraulic hiss. The observation area was completely silent. Whitney Ashford turned around slowly. She looked at me. She said, Sarah, that was so exciting for you. I said, Whitney, thank you. She said, you must be so, we were just talking about Emma. We were saying, Chloe and I were just saying how much we love watching Emma. I said, Whitney, thank you. The other mothers, sitting on the bleachers around us, had gone very still. Diane, next to me, had her hand on my knee. She was, I realized, crying quietly. Emma finished her floor routine at 7:24 p.m. She was one of the last 3 girls on the floor. She came running across the gym to the observation area, sweaty, hair frizzed, wearing a leotard that was a season out of date because I had not yet ordered the new one. She said, "Mom, did you see the round-off back tuck? I stuck the landing." I said, "Emma, I saw it. It was beautiful." She said, "Coach Vanessa said we could work on the double back next week." I said, "Emma, come sit down for a second. Mommy needs to talk to you." Emma sat down on the bleacher next to me. I took her hand. I said, "Emma, something wonderful happened tonight. There was a man here from the Olympic Committee. He watched you practice. He wants to talk to us." Emma looked at me. She said, in the exact way a 9-year-old asks the most important question of her life, "Mom, am I in trouble?" I laughed, and then I started to cry. And then Diane started to cry harder next to me, and Emma looked at both of us like we had lost our minds. I said, "Emma, baby, you are not in trouble. You are the opposite of in trouble." After, I want to tell you what happened over the next 4 weeks, because it matters. David Chen called me at 10:47 a.m. on Wednesday morning, October 22nd. We spoke for 47 minutes. He explained in detail the USOP's talent development pathway for gymnasts in Emma's age category. He explained the summer intensives at the National Training Center in Katy, Texas, expenses fully paid by the committee. He explained the coaching evaluations, the monitoring protocols, the medical support system, the educational scholarships available for family relocation if training required it, and the specific financial support that the USOP provides to families whose athletes are being tracked at Emma's level. He said, at one point during that call, "Ms. Patterson, I want to be very clear about something. The financial burden that a promising gymnast places on a family is well understood in our sport. The USOP exists, in part, so that talented children from families like yours are not lost to the sport because of resources. Do you understand what I am telling you?" I said, "Mr. Chen, I understand." He said, "Good. Then let's talk about which gym Emma should be at going forward. Because I want to be direct with you. Excel Elite is not the right place for Emma. Not because they cannot train her technically, but because a gym that does not know what your daughter is worth is not a gym that will develop her to her potential. Do you agree?" I said. "Mr. Chen, I agree," he said. "Then let me tell you about Metroplex Gymnastics. Coach Amanda Ruiz, the coach who submitted Emma's video, is one of the finest developmental coaches under 40 in the United States. Her gym is smaller. It is less flashy. It is 30% less expensive. And she has personally asked me, if the situation should ever arise, to please consider steering Emma toward her program. Would you be willing to have a conversation with Coach Ruiz this week?" I said, "Mr. Chen, yes, absolutely." Emma switched from Excel Elite to Metroplex Gymnastics on the first Monday in November. The transition was quiet. I did not send any explanatory messages to the Excel Elite mothers. I did not post about it on social media. Emma finished her last practice at Excel Elite on the Friday before Halloween. Coach Vanessa Whitmore was not there for it. She had, apparently, taken the day off. Whitney Ashford was in the observation area. She did not speak to me. Coach Amanda Ruiz at Metroplex Gymnastics is 34 years old. She was a former gymnast at Stanford. She has, per David Chen, 3 athletes on the national radar in the 8 to 10 age category. Emma is now the 4th. Coach Amanda took Emma into her office on the first day at Metroplex. She sat Emma down. She said, in front of me, "Emma, I am going to teach you the double back tuck. I am going to teach you the double twisting Yurchenko in 3 years. I am going to teach you every skill you have ever wanted to learn. But first, I want you to promise me one thing. I want you to promise me that you will still enjoy the sport when it gets hard. Do you promise?" Emma said, "Yes, Coach." Coach Amanda said, "Good. Now go stretch. David Chen calls me every 2 months to check in." Whitney Ashford's daughter Chloe is, per Emma's occasional gym parking lot updates from mutual friends, still at Excel Elite. She has, per the same updates, plateaued at the developmental level she was at last year. This is not, by any means, a moral judgment on Chloe. Chloe is a lovely child and a strong gymnast. It is simply the reality that at this level of the sport, some children reach a natural ceiling, and some children do not. Coach Vanessa Whitmore was, per a small item in the Frisco Business News in February, no longer employed as head coach of Excel Elite Gymnastics Academy. The gym's ownership announced that the change was a mutual decision to pursue new directions. David Chen did not speak with me about it, and I did not ask. He and I have never discussed what he said at that Thursday morning meeting. Some conversations are between the scout and the gym owner, and they do not need to be my conversations. Emma will, if her progression continues on the current trajectory, be evaluated for the USOAP's National Team Development Camp when she is 13. She may make it, she may not. Predictions in this sport, as David Chen told me from the beginning, are impossible. But she is, at the age of 9, doing back handsprings in a gym that knows what she is worth. And her mother, the night shift nurse from Plano, Texas, in the 4-year-old sweatshirt from the hospital, sits in the observation area every Tuesday and Thursday, and now nobody, absolutely nobody, tells her she does not belong. If you have ever been the parent who did not fit, if you have ever sat on a bleacher in a set of clothes that told everyone in the room how much you had sacrificed to be there, and been quietly told that your sacrifice was not enough, I want you to leave one word in the comments below. Just one word. The sport, the activity, the place, the single thing your child loved that you paid for with your own tiredness. Say the word, because someone in this comment section is going to see your word, and they are going to remember that the parent in the sweatshirt is almost always the parent who knew what the child was worth. And if this story reminded you that talent finds its witness eventually, subscribe. It was registered to the Department of Defense. I'll see you there.